Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we left off with Cherbourg returns to France. Or returns to the French, my bad. Talk too fast. We're now on to a German hideout in Cherbourg. June 27th, 1944. Nazis in the catacombs. Or in catacombs, I meant. This picture shown the opening to hideouts used by Germans before the fall of the city, and from which point they put their greatest opposition. Cut into the cliffs, these hideouts were equipped with great stores of rations. In one of the catacombs, the Americans found enough food to feed a battalion for months. There was even boiled water for use in a siege. So yeah, they're going to make sure that they have complete and utter, control of this area. And so they're going to make defensive positions, all that, everywhere that they can. So having basically a hole in the mountain, it's not a bad idea. It's a pretty good defensible position, especially if you have water for a long, protracted siege that you would expect reinforcements eventually. After the Allies entered Cherbourg. June 28th, 1944. Left behind by the Nazis. German soldiers most of whom were abandoned by their officers during the siege of Cherbourg, are marched through the streets of the city after its liberation by American forces. Below, rows of torpedoes line the walls of this underground fortress in Cherbourg, evidently intended to be used against attack from the sea. The Superman had no opportunity to launch them. Yeah, so as they're showing right here, bunch of those torpedoes, and they didn't get used. This is just pointing out, again, the Germans had the stuff. They just didn't ever effectively use it. It just sits here and basically rots while they are, oh, well, we were waiting for answers from the top. Because of how top-down all the command was, if the top brass didn't say anything, it didn't happen. And that's not how an army should run. It needs autonomy so that it can run effectively. But clearly, that is not what's happening. Robot lair on the Normandy coast. June 28, 1944. Launching site and damage. Believed to be the launching site for Hitler's pilotless planes, this strange arrangement was discovered by American troops that captured Cherbourg. The picture below was made shooting into the same direction from which the flying bombs came and demolished their homes. The burst was about 400 feet from where this picture was made. Most of the robot planes passed over this particular unnamed section of southern England. So right here, we can see what they think is where the rockets are getting fired from. And it's pretty much destroyed. So now there's two possibilities here, with it being this well destroyed. One is that the Allies destroyed it in a bombing campaign, didn't even know. Or two, when the Germans were leaving, they destroyed it, which is also just as likely. And yeah, you can see this town. And it's kind of showing that these things are terrifying. And truthfully, to people that have never interacted with rockets, they might be terrifying because they have such long range. And now these aren't ICBMs. These are just CBMs. I think Continental Ballistic Missiles, right? I don't remember. They're local. They don't go as far as an ICBM, which can go across the world or whatever. But they still have incredible range, and they would have been terrifying to any who had witnessed their destruction because where are we getting shot from? The Nazis wreck a valuable harbor. June 29th, 1944. Blocking a spacious port. This ship was scuttled by the Germans to block the entrance to the harbor of Cherbourg, one of the moves by which the foe wrecked the harbor facilities. The Nazis realized that with Cherbourg under the control of the Allies, a steady stream of supplies could flow smoothly from England. The Nazis left it in such a damaged condition that it was to be of little use for many months. I mean, yeah, obviously, the enemy is going to destroy any installation that you can use, so this is not really that big of a surprise. It's more probably just annoying, because you're like, okay, come on, guys, seriously? But, hey, if it helps slow the enemy down, you're gonna do it. Timeout on a Normandy beachhead. June 1944. Rest period, my bad, before action. These American African troops, let's say. I don't think I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. I'm pretty sure the video will get taken down. I apologize, but you see the word. I see the word. Everyone sees the word. At the left, who helped to keep supplies funneling through the beachheads to American and British forces forging into the interior of France. Stop for a few moments of rest and launch on the invasion beach. Below, a large group of American assault troops, having gained the comparative safety offered by the chalk cliff at their backs, take a breather before moving on to the continent. Medical corps men who landed with their group are treating them for minor injuries before they start their advance to the interior. Yeah, so obviously, African Americans didn't really have the biggest part to play in this war, but they did have a part to play. Now, depending on what side you were on, you had more of a part to play. So African Americans on the American side specifically would have not been used for more than like what they are here, which is just they are the troops at the ships taking supplies off, sending them up to the front, things like that. Not doing too much of the fighting. However, if you were with the French, and you were an African troop, or even an African American, because sometimes they went to help the French, you had a lot more camaraderie, brotherhood, like fighting on the battlefield. It's just a difference in opinion at this time. Obviously, Americans still very segregated. The French, not so much. So it's an unfortunate part of history, but it's stuff that happened. And then, yeah, we have the troops down here and the medical men that were with them, treating them, make sure they're all patched up. Gateway to China. June 19th, 1944. Crossing a Chinese river. The American invasion of Saipan Island, which precipitated the Battle of the Eastern Philippines, was a step on the sea road to China. General Stilwell's troops were blasting a land road through Burma. The hope was that the two forces could someday meet. In this picture, Chinese and American troops cross an improvised bridge of lashed, empty gasoline cans. So there we see, like they said, a bunch of gasoline cans crossing there. And yeah, the Chinese, once again, I really enjoy that this book points out their part in this war. We kind of forget about their involvement in the war a lot of the times, which is not fair to the Chinese. They did a lot. So it's nice when that is shown, because just Western schools, when I went to school, they didn't talk about the Chinese that much. They mentioned, the Chinese were defending their land. And that would be the extent of it. But they didn't ever talk about, like, hey, they were a lot of places. There were a lot of different places. And they were very helpful. And, yeah, it's just because of the Cold War. It really affected how we view China. So, very unfortunate. But with that, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I could improve on. I always appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.